friends, Amanda here. Welcome back to Handmade Now Hallmark, and today's card features some beautiful products from Simon Says Stamp and Concord and Ninth with the fun vellum overlay technique. I hope you enjoy. Let's get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is I wanted to get my background ink blended so I had an opportunity to dry before we started working with the rest of the card. So I got this pink panel of cardstock here. I actually found this in my stash, so I'm not 100% sure which brand it is, but you can definitely use any color cardstock for this card. You can do blues, you can do greens, anything that you like. I just decided to go with this pink because we're nearing Valentine's Day, and I wanted to create a card that seemed like it was Valentine's for a loved one, but you can definitely give this card to a friend. So I'm just going around the edges and I'm ink blending with some aged mahogany, regular distress ink, and just adding a little bit of depth and dimension to the outside of the card. You could definitely add more dimension if you went in with some black soot as well, which I think would be a fun technique, but I just decided to go with the one layer. Next, I'm going to take a piece of vellum. This vellum is from Simon Says Stamp, and I've got the Beautiful Flowers stamp set today. And I had this idea in my mind that I wanted to create something with this that kind of like had some movement to it. I really wanted to use vellum. So I had this idea to where I wanted to stamp this down using white embossing. Now, you could definitely do it with gold, which I think would be fun, but I decided to do white today, and I'm going to stamp it down and I'm going to trim it out along the one edge. And so I have like this fun organic edge that goes with the stamp, and then the rest of it's going to be kind of tucked around the card. So I know that's kind of hard to understand, but you'll see as I go through and create this card. So I'm stamping it down using some embossing ink, and then I'm going to use Brutus Monroe Alabaster White Embossing Powder to do my embossing. Now, I did prep my vellum ahead of time with some anti-static powder just to make sure that it was going to go exactly where I wanted to. Now, my house is very, very dry because we have the heat going. It's winter time and it gets very dry in here. So working with embossing powder whenever it's dry can be a little bit of a pain because there's so much static in the air that it does become a little bit difficult to work with. So working with it on this vellum here, I actually was pretty lucky. I didn't have too much static, which was really nice. So once I had that all covered, I made sure that my heat gun was really, really hot because you want this to melt as quickly as possible so you don't scorch your vellum. That's one of the main things I can tell you about this is it's super easy to work with, but you have to make sure that your heat gun is already good and hot so that it melts really, really quickly and you're not holding it on the vellum too long to where it scorches. I have had that happen before, and it's, you have to start all over again. It's not a huge deal to start over again, but you want to make sure that it's nice and hot. And once that's all nice and melted, I am going to go in and I'm going to take my fussy cut scissors. Now, if you had the die set for this, it would make it a little bit quicker. I don't have the die set for this, but it was super easy. I just took a pencil and outlined where I wanted to cut, and I kind of created my own like little outline, and I just went around with my scissors and cut that out. Super easy, didn't take super long to do. You can kind of see here what my plan is and where I want to cut that out. So I'm going to go ahead and do that off screen, get that cut out, and then we can work on the other elements for the card. Now, I was planning on doing some more embossing with this panel here. I was going to do some clear embossing with a fun kind of scripty text background, which I already have stamped on here. However, the issue with all of the static in my house is that I could not get this to dry. I mean, I got it to dry, but the static was so bad, so I just decided to leave it. You can sort of see the text background in the back, but in the end, I just decided just to leave it. So next I'm going to take that vellum piece and I am going to kind of wrap the side edge around. You can kind of see here what I'm doing. This panel, you are not going to see any of this once I adhere it to my card base. So I just took that tape runner and wrapped the vellum around, and it creates this fun sort of like a flap, I guess. Now, I am going to adhere my greeting down over top of it, so I won't move around a whole lot, but it does kind of pull up a little bit. It adds a little bit of fun and dimension. If you didn't want that and you still wanted to have this idea with it, being able to move, you could tuck your greeting underneath it. But I like the idea of the vellum along the side where you can sort of see the red behind it, which I think is fun. And I just used my bone folder to press that down, and it turned out really, really pretty, the idea I had in my mind. So I'm using a top folding A2 size card base here, and I did cut my red panel down so that I gave myself a little bit of a border beforehand. You can definitely do this as all one layer, but I just decided I wanted to have a nice white border to help incorporate everything in together. So once I did that, I wanted to stamp on the inside of the card as well. I don't do this all the time, but this stamp is just so pretty that I wanted to add it on the inside. And I'm going to use some Picked Raspberry Distress Oxide ink to stamp that down. I felt like it went really well with what was going on the outside of the card. And this makes for a really pretty card front. It really does. I think if you went and did a whole bunch of these card fronts, just stamped with this simple outline of these flowers in different colors. You could even do rainbow colors, and you could do a different greeting on each one. You could have a whole card set for somebody in rainbow colors, which I think is super, super fun. I think I mentioned this in my last video, that I get ideas as I create, which I think is really great, as you kind of build off of what you have and you just keep creating. You know, your mind is constantly working the more that you do it. So next I wanted to get my greeting done. I am using the Just Saying dies from Concord and Ninth again. I think I mentioned this again, that I'm kind of obsessed with these right now. I love them so much. And I felt like this greeting went well with the other greeting that I'm going to use on the inside of the card. I love you so. It's a friendship card. Yes, it looks Valentine's, and yes, Valentines are usually for significant others, but I have a lot of friends that I love, and I feel like this card would do well, especially with this greeting. And again, if you didn't want to do pink, this would be really pretty in blue. It would be really pretty in green. I could definitely see this being used in multiple ways. And if you have other large floral dies, you could, large floral prints, you could definitely do this with those as well. So you don't necessarily have to have this particular stamp set. Any large floral would work out just fine, I think. I think it would be really, really pretty. And then this gold piece is just some gold cardstock I had in my stash. If I can remember which one it was from, I will make sure to link it in the description box below as well. And you can use any gold. You could do gold embossing, glitter paper, anything like that would be really pretty. So once I had that kind of sitting off to the side to dry, I'm going to put my greeting on the inside, and this comes from Pretty Pink Posh's Foiled Sentiments 3. I'm not sure if this particular pack is still available, but I know that they have other packs that have these fun foiled greetings that are already ready to go, and I felt like this one was absolutely wonderful for this card. And I felt like it went really well with these flowers. It says, life gives beautiful gifts. Your friendship is one of them. I just felt like that's so sweet. I really just, this is going to make my friend's day. So I'm really excited to create this card for my friend. So again, I could definitely see myself creating this in lots of different colors. I even think yellow would be pretty, or like a really pale blue or something like that. Would be really fun. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down using some liquid adhesive, and you can see how fun that looks with that white border and that vellum. I always love working with vellum. It's super versatile and fun kind of specialty cardstock. And then I'm going to show you, this is where I'm going to put my greeting, and it looks wonderful. Again, love how it turned out. And again, if you don't want that vellum to pop up at all and you want to keep it somewhat flat, you want to adhere some pieces down, you could definitely go behind with a tiny bit of glue in some of the thicker areas of your, your stamped image, and just add a tiny bit of glue behind it, and that'll help kind of hold it down. You'll still have the effect of the vellum, but I think it would help hold it down. And I think mine curled up a little bit because I went in with this aqua shimmer pen to add a little bit of shimmer. And I think that's what maybe made it curl up a little bit. So I might go in and just glue some of those pieces down just so they stay nice and flat. And I just want to add a little bit of shimmer. You could definitely go in with some sequins here. I kind of played around with adding sequins or some Nuvo drops, but in the end I felt like just going in with this glitter brush pen, it was just enough shimmer, and there's just enough going on with this card that I really love the way it turned out, and I didn't want to do any more. And that will finish up this card for today. I really appreciate you guys stopping by and taking the time to watch my video. If you did like the video, please consider hitting that like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay warm out there, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye! On screen, I've got a few videos that I think you'll enjoy. Please consider hitting the like button as well as the subscribe so you don't miss out on any more videos here at my YouTube channel.